today.
Yeah, this is a little spicy. We got 2 evil cable rats. We have Heist Baron Togwaggle on the main list.
-2 cable rats, the shark's gone, but then Tog's scheme, same set of cards, except 1 extra Blood Sail Corsair is removed. A lot of Bomb Warrior today, but she has Elysiana in her opening.
Have is just more guaranteed damage.
The minus bomb package, I'm just going to game number 1, Shaxy versus Pathra, Rogue versus Warrior. Let's see if Rogue can get it done this time.
I'm curious to see if Shaxy wants to keep Spirit of the Shark with a Miscreant in this matchup. I haven't played the Rogue list enough with Spirit of the Sharks to know how important that is against Warrior, and if you want to keep it, say, on coin with Miscreant, and maybe delay the Miscreant turn just to get the extra lackeys off of the Spirit of the Shark.
I've played a fair bit of Spirit of the Shark, and I actually would like that a lot, because the lackeys are so powerful that there aren't other things you really expect, especially versus Patra's list. Like, great, Spirit of the Shark opens up double SI or a big Van Cleef. Well, the big Van Cleef might well just get executed and you don't have it in your hand anyway. So I do like holding on to it, because that could be an amazing turn as well, even if you look at coin. So you could get Cable Rat and Miscreant with coin after Spirit of the Shark, and that means you can also use one of the lackeys as well.
I don't know if you'll have hand space.
How many will you get? You'll get 4. You get 6. That's fine.
6 is a lot. Well, you're not spending any cards this turn,
You
right?
can use one though, right?
Yeah, you can use one.
It'll be fine. Or you could just as much try and, now with the preps in hand, depending on what Shaxy gets, he could actually even just coin out the Shark.
Yeah.
Because one of the problems with playing Shark on curve is that you go against a Dynomatic, which cleans it up.
Yeah.
Very, very
Spirits, not mechs. Might even see just a Cable Rat on 2. Could Dagger instead, maybe save the Cable Rat, but I don't think you can realistically expect all of your lackey generators to be played with the Spirit of the Shark. Eventually it might be dealt with, so perhaps
unless the plan is maybe because of a Dynomatic, Shaxy either takes it slow with the Shark, or he actually gets the value from the Shark with double Cable Rat instead of the Miscreant. He can play Miscreant earlier.
Yeah,
maybe. I'm not 100%. Because then also, if he has lackeys in his hand by the time he plays the Shark from the Miscreant, he can also double up lackeys, right? So you can gain like 2 Discover spells, or deal 4, or etc, etc. So the timing of the Shark, I think, is going to be very key to Shaxy's performance in this game. And I think the other side of this, on Patra's end, I think it's not too difficult for her to just drop down a Goblin on curve. I think you pass the point of not wanting to play certain minions to give the Rogue opponent like combo activators, you know what I mean? It's like they have coin and it's a 3-3 on 3. Seems fine. The bomb going off instantly just always makes me laugh. I don't really know why. But he's going to coin out that Shark, and I like this. This is just getting it out before the Dynomatic can just hard shut you down. And now he can prep Miscreant and then get a value from the one of the lackeys, or he could just double Cable Rat and say, you know, let's go. 4 lackeys in hand.
Patra spending her mana, applying pressure. Shaxy's taking a slower value sort of line, so Patra knows she needs to be a bit more aggressive, even though she's not always the aggressor in this matchup.
This is the weird worry, though, because you look at it right now. If Shaxy makes the cute plays for all the lackeys,
yep.
He might just die soon. But with that Abyss pickup, I would be surprised if we don't see some kind of prep Abyss just to clean up one of these minions.
Ooh.
Wow, we can discover 4 spells.
And
still prep a spell out.
Exactly.
You can discover 2 spells, prep whatever he wants, do it again, and still prep another Abyss. Oh, this game is about to get nutty.
Violet Haze for value. Backstab. There's a dagger equip. You can almost clean up the board. No, there's backstab and he clears the board.
Prep, dare, and escape. Ha! You can't come on Shark now.
Necreum Vial to be paired with the Violet Haze in hand.
Oh, jeez.
But that's the thing. There's so many ways you can take these games based on what you get off of these lackeys.
And now Pathra has to try and play around every rogue spell in existence right now.
Prep Abyss.
Because the worst part is, because they discover, you have to put the power level on the spells relatively high, right?
Yeah.
Because rogue spells are decent anyway, and then Shaxy gets to pick which one he wants.
I like this a lot from Shaxy. He uses both preps,
yeah.
a generated fan and a natural abyss to clean up the board, but this plays around Dynomatic coming down on curve. And Pathra doesn't really want to brawl this either, right? There's 3 1-1s and a 0-3.
If this Shark survives with 1 health,
Yeah.
it will become
That's the likely
God
outcome.
Shark.
That's not the guaranteed outcome, but... Oh, my fuses have been lit.
Shake of the head from Pathra, because it's just going to go from bad to worse, because she knows there's more stuff as well.
Well, all the lackeys have been played off of the initial cable wrap, but
I guess it's more the assumption that Rogue has so many cards that benefit from Shark that it's more crazy if Shaxy doesn't have
Shaxy
something.
doesn't have hand size to support all these. So if he plays the,
He can evolve twice.
he can.
So-
Oh my
and he
god!
can kill off the 3/4.
It becomes a 6 mana. This is insane.
No, it becomes 4 mana. Becomes
No.
a 4 drop.
Oh, he could. No, I'm saying he could evolve the Spirit of the Shark if he wants to.
Oh,
I guess
sorry, right, because it won't think it, though, right?
You might leave up the Spirit of the Shark then.
Yeah, just do it. Look at this, it's great. And then just the lackey deal 4.
Yeah. Daring Escape? Not sure if we'll see it, but I mean, it guarantees another use of the Spirit of the Shark.
Or you could even Shadow Step replace Spirit of the Shark. Oh, no, you couldn't.
On its separate turn, probably, yeah.
Yeah, separate turn. I mean, but at 2 mana, you can easily play it next turn with Miscreant and just keep going.
I think Shadow Stepping this is good.
Shaxy's playing a new class. It's called the Lackey class. You just beat someone up with lackeys and that's it.
Difficult spot for Pathra. Not that these minions are threatening, but you can't let every minion hit you multiple times, right? It starts adding up. Dynamatic again doesn't quickly hit the board. I don't think you want to shield slam a 2/4. You don't want to brawl this either.
Weapons Project does cut down some of the minions to make the Dynamatic more valuable the following turn.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like, Weapons Project shield slam the 2/4, kill a 1/1. It sounds like the worst play in the world, but I wouldn't hate it.
It might be the. I mean, you have to do something. You can't.
Because
just
you know
pass.
there's a shark,
Yeah.
and you know you need to have the highest chance possible to kill the shark next turn. That, or you let them do whatever they want and brawl. But my worry is, if Pathra goes for the passive plan and just, okay, my opponent's going to go wide, Shaxy doesn't have to play shark.
Yeah, he can wait.
So he could just wait, because there's so many more minions that gain value.
Play
from
Violet Haze if he wants. There's a lot of different ways. I mean, Pathra doesn't know that Shaxy has Violet Haze.
Just imagine, Shark, Lackey, Tog is a playable turn. They choose to just play the Dynamatic, get something on the board. The problem with the other players, it doesn't actually develop minions, just weapons.
Yep. I think the play was fine.
Language Hacker, would you like this game to have more lackeys?
I would like to recruit some evil lackeys, yeah.
There we go. Ask and you shall receive.
Shaxy's up to no good.
Shaxy's rubbing his head like it's difficult, and it is.
It is. I mean,
he's
there's
doing
different-
so
yeah.
well, but now he's like, God, so many more choices.
Well, that's the thing. That's one of the interesting things about these rogue decks, where they have all these lackey generation. With the old Conjuring Mage, for example, there's very, I don't want to say straightforward plays, but when you have only like 2 or 3 things that cost for mana, you're like, okay, I can do this or this or this. With Shaxy's hand, there's so many different one-cost minions. Obviously, this turn he only has 1 mana left over, but next turn he can spend his mana so many different ways. Rifless Rocketeer.
It was Dollmaster Dorian for just a second, and now that character reminds me of Sottle no matter what, because that's cinematic. And that's just definitely how Sottle would play versus someone who wants to have a good time. But yeah, Reckless Rocketeer to clear, and once again, Pathra is just plagued by a shark.
Might have to brawl this.
If it wins, though.
Oh, I mean, what else can you do? I mean, you know,
I don't even know.
It's kind of rough. I think she can hold back. Just say, okay, fine. Do your lackey stuff. We'll brawl you after. I'm still at 28 health. Eventually, I'll draw some stuff to do, or eventually you'll kind of run out of lackeys.
Right. I think the idea might be as well is that although the lackeys are powerful, like if you just keep doing them, his hand size is going to get silly, and he's going to run out of options. He's going to have to make bad plays or non-efficient plays, I'll call it. That size, not bad though.
This one Spirit of the Shark isn't so much.
And let's just remind everyone as well, this is Shaxy's, his primary initial deck. This is what he was queuing first against anyone he was going to face. And already it's looking pretty good versus this warrior.
Interestingly enough, his secondary list cuts the Spirit of the Shark for the scheme and the Harrison and the Gnome.
That's what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's like an alternate late game version. And it's like, do you need an alternate late game version? Maybe. But Spirit of the Shark is very good versus, mid-game and early game as well, as we've seen. Like, would this matchup be much worse if he was in a mirror? Like, the Shark still does insane things that get Shaxy ahead, right?
I think this is actually an interesting way to look at this, and this might be the reason why he doesn't like Spirit of the Shark against Warrior. He is doing a lot of stuff, and he has a lot of staying power this game. He's not running out of resources, but the Warrior's at 30 health. It's turn 7.
Right, he's not killed them.
Yeah.
He's not done the usual rogue thing. Look at that. That is so much value. It's insane.
It's like Bran.
Oh, yeah.
Bran Bronzebeard.
Not from that other thing.
Yeah.
Warpath.
Okay.
Finally, there's a guaranteed way to kill this Spirit of the Shark, and it's done its job. Shaxy can't be upset.
The funny thing is, with all these cards in hand, not all of them do the best things, which means like you don't even want to Myra's because you're only going to draw like so many cards,
Right.
so you got to get these out of your hand first.
What's going to be interesting here is if Shaxy goes for like a hand dump turn also. Myra's and the hand dump doesn't do much. The Myra's draws the rogue cards, obviously, and then he just ends up doing the rogue things, but just about 8 turns late.
Those are some large minions. Henge Clan Shadequill and Savannah Highmane.
Savannah Hermit, the original counter warrior card.
Maybe wait a bit longer, discover a scheme, shuffle some more in.
Maybe.
Alright, so Shadequill, the Shadequill is difficult to deal with. 7 health is a lot. But the Death Rattle doesn't necessarily help Shaxy. Healing your opponent isn't exactly what you want to do, but you kind of have to get stuff out of your hand.
Would equipping the weapon be so bad? Because you can play the Dread Corsair too.
Wouldn't be terrible. I don't hate it. Patra's running 1 Weapons Project, 1 Harrison. Well, Weapons Project would let Patra deal with the Henge Clan. Shadequill. Let you Shield Slam it after. Kill off the Miscreant. Downside is obviously it's one of your only ways to remove weapons, so if Shaxy happens to go, Deadly... Actually, Shaxy doesn't run Deadly Poison or Greenskin.
Yes, something has to be cut.
Yeah.
For all this craziness, all this sharky business.
So maybe Patra just says, alright, Weapons Project, go.
Wouldn't be too bad.
Cleans up the board. I mean, she's got to be seeing that Shaxy's struggling to put something reasonable on the board. Obviously, now we discovered a Shadequill, and that kind of filled out the turn, but
it was a discover, right?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't exactly part of the plan most of the time, so... I think it's a very tough matchup to navigate because of how crazy the early game was. It means that Patra's just not sure of what exactly is 100% left in Shaxy's hand. And then that's hard to formulate any kind of plan around, right? You're like, imagine playing a game of Hearthstone against someone, except they're playing with new cards that you've never seen before. Like, what are you supposed to do, I guess you just have to sit down and just play the best turn you can every turn and hope for the best. That's Armor Up Pass. That was a 7 mana float.
I mean, I think Patra's kind of figuring out that Shaxy doesn't have that much to do, and maybe she doesn't want to use the single her removal. Maybe wait for him to play something else along with this.
Yeah, Patra can sustain a certain amount of damage for a couple of turns at least, with the armor up as well, but Shaxy's saying, nope, I'm going to accelerate this game and play a load of stuff. So Highmane and the Dread Corsair comes down, and if this isn't a brawl, then I'm going to... I'm not going to say that actually, because I was going to say I was going to quit casting, but knowing me... That would literally happen, and I'll be forced.
Patra's patience last turn leads her to a bit of brawl this turn.
Okay, would have been safe. Nice as well. The weapon projects will kill one of the hyenas at least, unless the taunt limbs, of course. Okay.
Weapons Project, armor up, shield slam the Shadequill, clean up a hyena.
Looks good to me, doesn't it? I was looking at whether you just get the Wrench Caliber online and put some pressure on, but I think that turn is too good to turn down.
Agreed. It's perfect mana utilization too, it's just juicy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just a good turn, isn't it? You can always just throw away the rest of the weapon for Wrench Caliber if you really want the following turn. But yeah, she's just getting a clean job done. Gonna hero take down one of these hyenas. The health from the Hench Clan's nice.
Yeah, maybe this is why the Spirit of the Shark ends up being cut against Warrior, because you do a lot of stuff, but yeah,
no, you do a whole lot of nothing. Ooh, okay.
Eager Underling, Dr. Morgan. Shaxy's got to play something, right?
Kind of awkward as well, because I think this would just be a reasonable weapon turn, peel off some of that armor. But
I think now Shaxy might want to just get used of the... there's not a lot of stuff he wants to bounce, right? So maybe he just wants to get used to the Weapons Project weapon for now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, because the Weapons Project, he won't want to play the weapon now.
Yeah.
Terrible. Just emptying his hand now. Gonna start peeling some damage. And it's... Funnily enough, it's weak, but it's enough of a board that Pathra, has to deem this as a certain level of threat, right? Like, can't just take, what is it, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, like 11 damage a turn? That's almost 2 turn, right?
Difficult to get a read on what Shaxy has left. From Patra's perspective, Shaxy has, I believe, 2 random spells, a Lackey, and 1 Death Rattle minion. So she can kind of decide how she wants to tackle this board. If she wants to just use a second Brawl and say, I don't think you have that much gas left over, or just start picking at it with maybe a Wrench Caliber, with an Omega Devastator that she just picked up.
I even think just a Ziliax would be fine.
Ziliax
right?
too, yeah.
What now?
Ziliax does a decent job. It sticks to the board and it has to be removed the following turn. You can clear up a decent amount. You could even Ziliax a 3/3, trade into the 2/2, then Omega Devastator, one of the big ones.
So Shaxy holding that last Lackey is probably for the Heist Baron Togwaggle he has yet to find. So from Patra's perspective, she knows that there's a Lackey left over, and she's thinking, I probably need to save the second Brawl for the Heist Baron if a Crown comes out and discovers some legendary minions. It's a bomb.
Did it? Was the Omega Devastator skipped?
It.
Oh, that's twice today!
I mean, there's a lot of pressure. But yeah,
and now,
missing the Omega Devastator, this might be a big deal.
Literally, what kind of swing is it? It's plus a 4/4 and minus a 4/5
Yep.
Patra's end. That is a huge deal. She would be on 25 and have a 4/5 on the board that Shaxy had to have considered and maybe even traded the deckhand into. Could have potentially been 8 health higher. But what's done is done. Now it just needs to be recovery mode. Right, that happened. It's done, dusted. You can't rewind time. What can Pathra do now to stabilize and try and secure this game? Might be Brawl time.
Punish a little bit for the hesitation, but it looks like she's already back in focus. That's good. Moment has passed. Focus on what you got to do going forward. What if you Omega Devastator the Dr. Morgan, pull out Heist Baron Togwaggle, Brawl, and then win the Brawl?
I mean, that would be a good turn.
That would be a good turn. You can throw in a Rover if you want to.
Sure. That actually wouldn't be so bad,
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what else. I mean, it's difficult to deal with this board.
Well, either way, it needs to be done quick. You don't want to do the same thing twice in a row. Okay.
Caliber. We'll see what pops out.
It's going to take so long. The animation takes so long.
Yeah.
Like, I don't...
No?
Okay, Van Cleef. Was there a swing? There was a swing. Okay.
Good.
Recovery mode activate. Van Cleef is decent. You just gotta worry about a Shadow Step now.
8-9 with Leroy at 16. It's kind of real close. So the raiding party pickup, does Shaxy have pirates left? I believe there is a Dread Corsair left and another Bloodseal Corsair. the largest minions at this point in the game, but
I think you want to go pick now, right?
yeah.
Set up the Shadow Step Leroy because you either win with the minions you've got on board anyway, or they get cleared, and then you can freely Leroy and then use the second swing of the pick to Shadow Step.
No, I think that makes sense. I'm expecting a raiding party as well. I suppose you could assassinate this. What else are you going to assassinate? You've already seen a Ziliax. Daring Escape. So it looks like Shaxy is going for a big Edwin play. Also happens to use the Bloodsteel Corsair Battle Cry to get rid of the second charge of the Brunch Caliber.
Oh, I'm surprised at that, though. I thought the Assassinate on the Omega Devastator would have been a little bit better. This is a big cleave, though.
The Brotherhood shall obey.
Okay. I think Patra's in a position where she can save the Sprawl any longer for...
I think she needs to trade Execute first.
She could trade Execute, but I see what you're saying.
If she brawls and Van Cleef wins, she dies. Game. Right?
The thing is, if you trade Execute, there's still just stuff left over and you don't have much else to develop.
It's only 4 power, though, right?
Oh...
You could trade Execute Brawl. Oof, okay.
I think she might be in such a rough spot that she just needs something small to live, or the Devastator. Oh no. Okay.
Oh!
No, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
That was so close.
Okay.
But Shaxy's still, well, not now, but was one Shadow Step away from just killing Pathra with Leroy. And there's 2 Waggle picks.
So I think Pathra can figure out how much damage could have been pushed last turn if there was a Leroy, or obviously she knows the Leroy step should have been dead, so she can say, all right, Shaxy, I know you don't have that, so instead of armoring up here, she goes further in on board the Eternian Rovers.
Okay. Game getting real close right now.
Yeah.
Now, I think Assassinate pick face.
You need to close out the game, you're 11 health, you're...
Because you can't play a minion, right?
Yeah.
Because the 1/3s, the Eternal Rovers are just going to heal.
Patra's going to get out of the damage range.
I think
Shaxy
Assassinate
has it
pick
open.
face.
I think that's got to be the play, yeah.
You have 16 damage next turn unless there's a taunt. I think you got to make that call.
Already seen a weapons project from Pathra, so the only other weapon removal would be the Harrison. He knows 2 cards in hand are mechs from the Omega Assembly. I think this might be the turn Shaxy needs to say, alright, let's get in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like he agrees.
It's the outcome that leads to the best results because Pathra literally needs to either heal for a lot somehow, like that,
Like a boom.
like that, yeah, that'll do, I think, or gain or play a taunt.
Choosing to forego the hero power to see what she gets off of the boom. So she can unpowered Maul Lumi or hero power Lumi.
I hate Mauler. Sucks. I think the 1 damage is going to be big.
Alright, so Shaxy has the pick, 2 Leroys at 16 damage.
Is for lethal? Okay, nope.
1 mana short. With 11 mana, you could fit in the SI as well. Shaxy used the other lackey earlier to make the big Edwin, so this High Baron's not doing a whole lot. There's a 6 mana 5/5, but that's not quite what we need.
Do you actually have to swing pick and then just re-equip pick pass?
You could.
Oh no, you equip pick, swing, then pass, right? Because you want the Shadow Step for Leroy next turn, so you need the pick to die next turn.
You could also throw the SI before you re-equip the Waggle pick to get a cheaper SI, in case Pathra finds a bit of healing.
That's probably optimal, yeah, why not? Because you have the mana after, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh no, because you can thingy, right? You can hero power to proc the pick, so you may as well swing re-equip.
True. It depends if you think you can close out the game next turn or if you want to close it over 2. The thing is you're at 7 health, so I don't know if you can live that much longer.
Yeah, I think you just go in, right?
Yeah.
You can't do... Oh?
Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Getting the Leroy mana in now, saying... Okay, fine.
Okay.
I mean, Patra's hero power can't go face. There's one. There's 1 mech left over in her hand, and as long as it's not magnetic.
Oh my, what a game! Both players getting so close. And there's a bomb out, right?
Perhaps. Historically, there's been more bombs than we've expected, so...
That's true, yeah. And there's no way for Pathra to damage her own Eternium Rovers, which means there's no additional armor gain. The hero power may as well be 2 mana do nothing this turn.
Defend the gates.
Alright. Shaxy playing on the edge, letting himself get to 1 health. I'm going to assume there was a bomb.
Well, that was not a bomb. Shaxy was the one fist bump in, and Leroy into SI7 agent is going to close out game number 1, and you have to wind back the clock a little bit and think, what if there was 4 less damage?
All these plays, time can go by really quickly, and I think the players need to maybe put aside some of their hesitation and just be confident in their plays.
Yeah, it's something we've even seen that, at Worlds, in this league, some of the best players in the world, and at Worlds, of course, there were some of the best players in the world, and there were some timing issues as well, so something I definitely have to keep in mind. But let's go on to game number 2. Shaxy, let's find out if he's changed deck. I do see a scheme, so he has moved over to his more anti-warrior list, and Pathra does have the Harrison, but that was in a main list anyway, so we'll hold our breath for this one.
Shaxy having Scheme right in his opening hand is very beneficial to him. Also having both raiding parties and being on coin, not a bad hand.
Yeah, means he can get cooking straight away, but if there's something that surprised me the most today is how well Bomb Warrior does at pressuring Rogue.
Yeah, a Rover into Clockwork Goblin, Commander, maybe a Harrison if it lines up nicely.
And after seeing Raiding Party, Pathra has to think that Harrison will line up at least reasonably nicely.
Yeah.
Bomb already in the deck. Yeah, are we going to go on theme and Shaxy draws the bomb? No, okay. I feel like we've seen a lot of that today in these casts.
Shuffle a bomb, draw a bomb. And then we somehow forget that there's 3 more in the deck.
Yeah.
Both players seem to have a pretty good hand so far. Shaxy's a little fuller, but Patra's not exactly weak.
The problem with coining out the Raiding Party is that now it just limits options, because Raiding Party often gets you things you want to do with the weapon.
Yeah.
But the weapon can't be equipped, so backstabbing to SI will have to do. Definitely not a bad play at all. Shaxy does not stay still when he is playing Hearthstone.
Pathra now has a decision to make if she wants to Militia Commander the SI, leave something on board, or Wrench Caliber. Perhaps Militia Commander the turn after. Or maybe even Harrison on 5. She knows that Shaxy's drawn a Waggle Pick because of the activation back on turn 2.
I think I like Wrench Caliber because it gives the Waggle Pick a bad trade into your Turning Rover.
Yep.
I guess Militia Commander does that as well, but I don't know. I normally like getting weapons active and locked and loaded, ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, you get 2 swings, right?
Exactly.
Second bomb in the deck. Okay. There's one of the sprints. Sorry, the sprint.
And now limited options. I mean, Shaxy can play the Raiding Party again. He's going to just get more of the Pirates in hand. And most importantly, that Bloodsail Corsair to chip away at the Wrench Caliber and remove the extra bomb that could have been shuffled in the following turn. So I get the plan, but it's very weak.
The Corsair was guaranteed. I think from Shaxy's perspective, if he takes the game longer, the scheme is just going to help him out.
I'm just wondering if, even with removal like that for -1 bomb, if it's enough to not just die from stuff anyway. Because the longer the game goes, the more likely it is that he draws a bomb. Or draw the bombs, should I say.
True. Well, the Rover at 1 health now might be a bit better for Shaxy to go. Also, the second raiding party picked up the second Dread Corsair, which gives him an even bigger swing turn now.
That's true, yeah. If you're ever going to go for it, I think you should go for it now. Shaxy looks like he's in pain.
Well, he's thinking if he develops, so he can go Waggle Pick, Dread Corsair, or both Dread Corsairs, and the deckhand to clean up the 1/2, the Rover. The thing is, on turn 6, Patrick could Warpath 3 times and clear the board.
Yeah.
And if that happens, there's not a whole lot Shaxy has to do on turn 6. There's no prep. You can't... Okay.
It's going to hold one.
So holding back one Dread Corsair plays around Warpath, but doesn't play around Dynamatic.
More fearful of the Dynamatic. I guess the Dynamatic's a bigger problem because it leaves a minion on the board, whereas Warpath is a whole turn. It clears your board, but you gain initiative again if you're Shaxy, right?
Yep.
So you can actually do something.
So Pathra is presented with a very clear Warpath opportunity, but she's considering all the plays. Maybe Harrison's a possibility as well. She knows that the second raiding party wasn't comboed, so either there might be a waggle pick, the second waggle pick already in Shaxy's hand, or he just hasn't drawn the second one.
Yeah.
But I think at 35 health, you're not necessarily scared of much. I think just clearing this board, and you let the waggle pack hit you in the head,
Well,
is fine.
I was actually going to say, I don't even think you necessarily need to play the Warpath here, because I think what Pathra might want to do is this play is good enough where, even without the Shield Slam, the health is plenty for her, and then you can play Boom next turn, and then recover with the Warpaths or the Brawls, and still have Boom live.
Oh, I see.
So I think like you get Boom down, and then you have Brawl, Warpaths, and it's like, well, how does Shaxy stick anything for 3 turns while you're drawing mechs and maybe generating more mechs as well? So I feel like it's just this weaker turn, which it wasn't even that weak because of the way the obviously the pick drew back the Corsair was pretty good actually, pretty good spot.
So Shaxy didn't have a great turn 6 play before. Now with the Harrison going off, the Eviscerate can be used to clean up the Harrison. He can redevelop the Dread Corsair, maybe set up for a sprint on 7. Perhaps he's considering if he wants to just Myra's now. He can also backstab, use his hero power and the Bloodsteel Corsair to clean up the Harrison.
It's definitely scary, right? Because Shaxy has sprint and Myra's.
Yep.
If he hand dumps now to Myra's, then he has to hope he gets something to actually win the game with, right?
Right.
With 17 cards, it's not unlikely that he misses. If he sprints, then that fills up his hand more so that Myra's is worse. So it feels like a conflicting hand here that's going on.
I'm suiting up.
This is good though.
Well,
The low damage output here, perfect Dr. Boom turn, on curve, and about as low damage as you're going to expect from a rogue board.
Last shield coming in. Okay. So 1 bomb left in the deck. Miscreant. Okay, we got some stuff to do now. We'll see if Shaxy wants to take a bit of a slower turn sprint, try to find some other cards, or just go on the Miscreant. Kind of hard to activate it. Might have to backstab your own Dread Corsair.
Yeah, at least you know there's no other hero powers that deal 1 damage, whether it be the microbots or the bomb.
Yep.
So he has done it. I'm surprised that nothing else has come out yet.
I hope he miscreants. Backstab sprint's not that great.
I was going to say, I mean, Myra's is the only other option.
I think he was considering it, yeah.
Is he going to Shadow Step play in the Myra's?
Well, he
Just
might.
empty as much of his hand as possible. I think, yeah. I guess Shaxy's just going for it. And
Okay.
this, I mean, I don't know. This feels risky, but there's
Well,
Tog,
there's the
there's
Tog.
Shadow Step.
Both life drinkers got some health to work with.
Okay.
This also keeps your hand full, so if Pathra has bomb generators, jamming
go.
it now isn't good, yeah.
Does she need to, though? I mean, the big question for me is, by shuffling Togs into your deck, I mean, luckily enough, Shaxy Drew has got double Miscreant, which is a big deal. If he missed the second Miscreant, then shuffling, tons of Togwaggles in your deck are just 6 mana 5/5s, right?
Yep.
Because yes, you can proc them maybe 1 to 2 times total, but that's it. But now with the miscreant, that's like 4 potential Tog procs, which is pretty huge.
Well, it depends how you do it. So if you choose the Wondrous Wand when you have enough mana and you just have the one Lackey on board, you can go Lackey.
Oh, just draw.
Yeah, Wondrous Wand. You have only Togwaggles left in your deck. Then you just play them all in one turn. You have a big board, and then you have like 5 crowns.
You're right. Yeah.
Expecting a Miscreant.
Shaxy just getting these lackeys in.
I think he was hoping for some double time and double pay. Shake of the head. Would you like you could get some interesting things here? Could get a 5 mana minion, a 4 mana minion, a Ziliax, Earth Elemental.
I do love it. It's like it's very quickly going to become a caster bingo thing.
Oh yeah.
Where like you whenever anyone talks about a certain cost card, it's always just like the one card. So I could go to 5 mana, Ziliax. It's like there's a lot of 5 drops.
I'm setting
it's the
it
same
up.
It's the old like Doomsayer out of a shredder, right? It's like the only 2 drop that's important is a Doomsayer, and that's it. And you always have to mention it. So it's definitely going to happen. The Warpath does technically.
Well, not quite. 1 mana off.
Oh sure, yeah.
I don't think we're too concerned about the Tiger. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but I mean that you can't clear it. But I mean,
I guess it's just damage, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing. It's just 5. Like at least we can see guaranteed damage.
Somebody order a bomb.
this does have Rush. So she can decide if she wants to clear up the Miscreant or ship the Rover upstairs. The Goblin can't go upstairs. I don't hate trading off the Rover. Letting Commander still hit face.
I think this is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason you want to save health on the Rover is to gain more armor. Trading gains you the armor you'd gain anyway.
Yep.
So, like, why not? This pushes more damage to face. Shaxy now down to 16. Sorry, 14 with the fatigue.
Yeah.
He needs to make something happen quick. Of course, he does have the scheme, so he can turn off fatigue effectively whenever he wants. And
Stegtron?
since it's been in his hand all game, we're about to see some fireworks.
Yep. Yep. We even have the prep to go with this, which means she can shuffle the Togwaggle on now, prep out the Wondrous Wand, play 3
here
more
we go.
Togwaggles, get 3 more treasures.
And this is, I won't say solved, but when you can create this many treasures, you normally can create the right amount that gets you where you want to be in a matchup, right?
Right.
So I'm not saying I know the 100% correct numbers of, which one, obviously it depends how many you shuffle, but which ones, how your hand space and how many crowns, for example, and how many even golden kobolds or whatever you get. But
Interestingly,
this is looking scary.
we didn't get the option this game from Shaxy, but if he had Lyra left in hand, he could have potentially shuffled those in.
Oh, I've done that before,
Oh, yeah.
and that's glorious, yeah. You just play like 7 Leroys and get them.
Yeah. So now Pathra needs to gear up for a bit of a longer game. She knows that there's at least, 2 crowns in hand? So Shaxy holds back on one of the Heist Barons.
Which is always fine because he has the miscreant.
Yep.
He has this, like I said, if the second miscreant was burnt, Shaxy would have to go way more all in. And going all in on 1 million Togs isn't the worst thing in the world, of course, but it's just that little bit less safe, right? You have to just play as much as possible on the board, and then it gets brawled and cleaned up, and then you have to hope.
This should also tell Pathra that there is some sort of Lackey generation left in Shaxy's hand, because otherwise, the 3 cards drawn this turn were exactly Togwaggle, Togwaggle, Togwaggle.
Right.
So there must be some reason why Shaxy's holding back a Togwaggle.
Exactly, right? You wouldn't hold one if you couldn't generate a
Yeah.
Lackey. So, she might not kill it. So, yeah, okay. Lackey's actually the highest priority target on the board right now.
Warpath to clean this up is nice. Save brawls for bigger targets.
I will note, though, the crowns are not the be-all and end-all either,
no.
because there are a lot of legendaries that suck without battle cries.
Myra Rotspring, Blood Mage Thalnos, Nat Pagel.
Yeah, there are tons.
Yeah.
So many. But let's see how Shaxy approaches this. Is he going to go in with anything now, or is he going to take another slow turn just to get the Togs rolling?
The thing is, at 12 health, I don't think he can wait that long, because Pathra does have some bomb generation. Ooh.
2 Leroys, let's go.
No, go
What?
Karen.
Boo! Leroy's is like 12 damage this turn, come on. And there you go, that's a perfect example. Imagine if he only had 1 crown.
Yeah.
Just 2 6/6s plain. Like, not really the best cards. He does have Shadow Step, which does make some legendaries a little bit more interesting, because the Battle Cry, can go off if you Shadow Step them back, of course, and replay.
Good time to play out the Miscreant as well. The thing is, the Karens are perfect because it plays around Brawl, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of the only reasonable answer to this.
Now, this is the big question, isn't it? Patra's got tons of health. She isn't going to just randomly die, right? Like that's just a fact. But does she have enough stuff left in the deck outside of Elysiana? I'm not going to comment on any card in the game.
Sure.
But does she have enough stuff in the deck to actually stop this onslaught from Shaxy, even if she draws perfectly? Because one Brawl's gone and there's still 2 4/5s on the board, technically 3. So what is the draw that actually stops this? I don't know.
There's a couple that help. She still has a Devastator, I believe, left over. An Omega Devastator. Mm-hmm. That could help out a bit. I believe she still has a Shield Slam. So it's not cards that'll just win out the game, but with enough health to work with, she can take a few hits, try to get through the last few Togwaggle treasures that'll be discovered. There won't be any more shuffling in, so after these last 4 cards get drawn for Shaxy, he will also start taking fatigue damage.
You say that. There is a minion that can discover a spell, Mr. Language Hacker.
Oh, of course.
And that could be another scheme, and we could be here all night.
Well, but then we're kind of short on Lackey. I mean, you can Shadow Step the Lackey, yeah. Save it. Pathra might be very happy to see the Zap Cannon pop up. 4 more of those, and game's over. Maybe 5 if there's a Life Drinker left over.
Oh, okay.
Not sure you want to draw. Probably just backstab.
Yep, just get something done. I believe we are going to see some more Togs. The good thing is, for now, this Brawl is going to buy a lot more time.
Yep.
I just got to go straight for a Crown, and...
Those normal. You got to wait till the rope... if you wait a bit longer for the rope, it gets more panicky.
Language Hacker with all the plays. I mean, this was a snap Brawl anyway, right? No matter which way you slice it.
You could have thought about it, but yeah.
Oh, I guess, do you Hero Power execute the can? I guess not, right? Because if an 8/8 lives, you got to worry. Well, if Snap Brawl happens and then Nosdormu lives, which, okay. Patch has got some time.
Okay. I mean, that's the thing. With Boom coming down so early, Pathra had so much time to just gain armor, gain these resources she needed to be able to deal with these Hesperian Togwaggles. So even with these techs...
I like this as well, shield block into Zap.
Yeah.
Because it's better than just saying Dynamatic, do random damage.
I like this going face too. She recognizes that it's going to be difficult to clear everything, so she needs to start just getting some chip damage trying to end the game.
And also as well, there's Warpath anyway for next turn, if she wants to clear. So why use mana on damage on a minion that you can clear anyway? Because I imagine with 2 5-health minions plus X on the board, you probably are...
Yep.
There's a reasonable likelihood that Patra's already considering just Warpath next turn.
Shaxy a little frustrated there. This is the last Lackey, and I think Pathra should know that as well, so this has to be Shadow Stepped if he wants to continue generating stuff off of Hesperian Togwaggle.
Still not bad, though. The only frustration here is because of a lack of Wand. He can only play 1 Tog a turn at the moment.
I think I would have liked to see a Wand here.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you need to put more into the board. Also, this is helping the Warpath turn a lot, because it means Hero Power can be used too.
Yeah.
They're just 6/6s. Like I said, the Crowns are definitely not just a win.
I would have liked, not by themselves, yeah, you need more over time, but I think I would have liked to see Wonder Swan here from Shaxy. It does get you to fatigue faster, but the thing is, this board is answerable. And this is your last Lackey, so you're realistically only getting 1 more treasure with this Lackey. But whereas if you had gone Wonder Swan, you would have gotten 3 more treasures. You have a big board this turn. The next turn, if it gets cleared, you have 1 final board that Pathra probably won't be able to deal with.
And also, you could have even got the Monkey as the last one, just to say, right, here's a cheap taunt, and it makes, for example, the Sprint a different card, and so on and so on.
Replaces your hand, you get an Archivist, we start all over.
Yep, we get cozy. And Now, though, is Pathra trying to consider a world in which she doesn't have to use Warpath?
He's trying to see if there's another way to do it, but I think Warpath is going to be pretty clean.
Yeah.
She should know that that's the last lackey left in hand, and there's 5 Heist Barons left. I think Patra's managed to log up this game.
Yeah, the 2 Omega Devastators, as I feel like is almost always the case, the Omega Devastators win games.
Yeah.
Because, imagine those 2 any other cards, right? It's difficult.
Sure.
But there are still a lot of big minions in Shaxy's deck and hand that can get work done.
Yep.
But the Omega Devastators just are so savage in terms of like just kill a minion and often kill another minion with the rush effect.
It's devastating.
I see what you did there. It's very original. I like it.
Yeah. Thanks. I was up all night thinking of that one. Shaxy trying to plan out what he wants to do. Probably going to involve the king. He might have to switch to the, like you said, the golden monkey at this point. I don't know if the Zarg's crown is going to do it.
It's the mage one, right?
The Dragonhawk, of course. Classic.
And already you can see the stall now. And there you go. Yeah, I thought he would have to go for him. It's a 3-mana 6/6, which isn't bad. What do we have? Hakar.
Perfect.
Those are all terrible cards.
Not in this board state.
Those are all terrible cards. Well, the problem is as well, Pathra has Elysiana.
Yeah.
So the card does nothing. Whereas Shaxy will die. Mojo Master does not a lot. Godfrey, you don't want to clear the board because you're the one making the board.
Ooh. I think we do take the Clockwork Goblin with only a couple cards left.
Yeah, why not?
Save the best for last. Kind of want to see a Orange Caliber this turn, just ship it upstairs. She could go for the Mega Devastator, try to put more on the board.
I think well, this threatens lethal anyway, or sets up lethal for her, right? If she kills the 5/5, then these 2 Omega Devastators can go face, and the Wrench Caliber seals the deal. So I think I like this overall.
You still have Deathwing Protection with Dynomatic Execute.
Yeah, the average legendary, and even some of the best legendaries, do not deal with 4/5s or 4/4 as well. So you can just push enough damage, and I am sure there are many players who have discussed with this Tog style of the shuffle the Togs, go for all the treasures. They've discussed on what's the thing specifically you do that beats Warrior. Playing now, but what do you make of this? What would you do if you were Shaxy? Because he appears to have stuck with the counter Warrior.
I think he may have jumped the gun a little bit too quickly on the Myers last game. He had the scheme. It was kind of big. That's fine. But I think he might have been able to take it a tiny bit slower, because what he did near the end was just... I think he misstepped in not drawing more Togwaggles and getting more crowns right at the end.
Right.
Even though it escalated how quickly he would die to fatigue. You can get a lot of value off of those Togwaggles, but you need to be able to actually make enough waves of threats. And the way he did it was almost perfect until right at the end.
Yeah, there was the turn where he made the crown and not the wand.
Yeah.
And you think, well, if you choose a wand, it's -1 crown. Right, but the wand is like +3 crowns, so you still end up a net positive overall, right? When you join them, you actually whiffed a few and ended up having to use the monkey early. But this is a fresh game now, and Pathra, again, off to a decent start with a 1-drop. Can coin into Wrench Caliber with a Militia Commander backup on turn 4 as well. Whereas Shaxy has a little bit of a middling hand, I would say. The scheme racking up is always nice, of course, but there's just like the Life Drinker and the Waggle Pick that are really there, and the sprint, I don't know. I'm not 100% solved on the sprint in the list for me, Language Hacker.
I believe it's there for consistency, to be able to get to that endgame state much more, a larger amount of the time.
Right.
The problem is when you're putting some of these cards in, and they end up clogging your early hands. The explosive starts we see from rogues tend to become a bit less consistent, even though your late game playing might be happening a lot more often. When the warrior is given so much time, like we saw last game, Pathra had 40 plus health near the end, where when Shaxy
before the game really started,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, it was nuts. The health gain was really nice, and there was no early pressure from Shaxy really whatsoever. No, again, it's something we saw in game number 1, I believe, from Pathra, which is just, I'm playing an Omega Dev, a Chillwind Yeti, effectively, on the 4, because I'm not going to, presume it's going to get too much value late game.
Against Shaxy's list in particular as well, Pathra knows that if she puts a lot more stuff on board and Shaxy starts taking the damage...
I mean, look at it already.
Yeah.
You suddenly look at the list. Sprint, Scheme, Tog, Nomi. It's like, it's high-cost cards for Rogue to be played. Rogue is not known for its high-cost, high curve at all. But in these lists, it seems to get there.
There's no Harrison as well in the list, so Pathra knows that this isn't really a scary thing to throw in the Devastator. Also, no raiding party has been played.
Like, is this almost like Life Drinker swing pass, or he's gonna have to eviscerate and swing? Wow.
Shaxy wants to get the late game. He needs to make sure he doesn't take repetitive damage from this Devastator.
And if he's choosing to swing, you may as well play the Corsair and get it for 0 mana.
Could, yeah.
There's no reason not to, right?
But, yeah. Also, having a 0 mana card to activate something later is not bad.
Right.
I mean, look at the rest of his hand. There's not a whole lot you can use to activate a raiding party, right?
For a Myra dump as well,
yep.
Where you just, you want to empty hand as quick as possible.
So interesting from Patra's side, she does have 2 Wrench Caliber, so she could just swing face, get the Corsair to come out from Shaxy, or she could take it a bit more slow, be a bit more patient.
Funnily enough, could you ever just... Is it ever worth playing the Wrench Caliber and not swinging face?
Yeah,
to
do
say,
that too.
Well, your Corsair is either stuck in hand, and if you do play it, it doesn't remove the weapon, and also, if you need it to activate something, it has to be played, but... I don't mind either way, to be honest. There's 2 Wrench Calibers there, as you said. I think you just want to start chucking bombs at Shaxy.
I think there's not a whole lot you're doing with your mana for the next couple turns. I don't think Shaxy's going to be developing such a large board. I think Patrick can make a read that there's quite a bit of a slow hand from Shaxy's side. So just weaving in the armor instead of equipping the Wrench Caliber. She really needs the weapon next turn. She can equip it with another armor up.
And we did see the armor made a huge difference last game as well.
Yep.
Excuse me if you heard that. So the Dynomatic can clear off this Life Drinker pretty easily. Doesn't quite fit as nicely with the Hero Power as well. So maybe Wrench Caliber is just fine with Hero Power, as you said. Protects the 1/3 as well.
I think with the second Dynomatic pickup, I'd like to see the first one come down just for more pressure. I mean, Patrick saw Shaxy eviscerate an Omega Devastator. There's not... I mean, clearly Shaxy's struggling at A, developing the board, and B, being able to deal with anything that Patrick develops. She opts for the Wrench Caliber Hero Power, which is fine as well.
I think this is one where it's not so much about this turn, but it's about using the mana that's in your hand over multiple turns. Mm-hmm. So using Wrench Caliber now means that the second one can be equipped sooner and start just getting rid of that mana from the hand. And Dynamatics can be such high-valued late game. Like, they kill some insane minions. Like, they'll kill a Tog, for example. And that's a really, really powerful swing late game. And there's the sprint.
Kaboom.
And there we go. Bloodsail Corsair at 0 mana. It didn't mean it could play it with a sprint, but it didn't do anything else. Wrench Caliber again.
Shaxy also isn't running Ziliax, so the only form of life gain is Life Drinker.
Also here, Militia Commander plus Wrench Caliber. Just Commander the 1/2 just to get it on the board. Like you said, develop more minions. Wrench Caliber face again. And the more that Shaxy's drawing is, the more likely these bombs are going to start hitting very quick.
Yeah.
Looks good to me, at least.
I think Dynomatic now feels a bit weaker.
And also you can Wrench Caliber, right?
Yeah.
So you can just coin Wrench Caliber with the Militia Commander. I don't think you really need to hold on to coin for that much longer.
Yeah.
Not with this hand, anyway. You can play it all very, very nicely.
I think squeezing it in now is a good idea. Like with all the cards drawn from Shaxy, it's much more likely he has a playable turn.
Right.
So saving the Dynomatic to deal with something a bit later might...
And also as well, like coin 8 to 9 doesn't really change much in the deck. Overall,
yeah.
It's not like a power turn, right? It's not like you're coining on turn 6 into 7 to play boom. Like those days are past now.
Yeah.
So I do like this overall. Shaxy has approximately 1 billion cards in hand, and now a Van Cleave, so he can make one rather large gentleman there. But not even in a particularly efficient way. Ooh. Next turn, so Shaxy could play the Miscreant along with the Corsair,
Yep.
and just do it and say, well, this turn's going to suck, but I will gain something to be able to say play the Togwaggle the turn after maybe. But this is honestly a little bit scary for Shaxy. He's on 16 health and being pressured on board.
Precipice. All right. This
This is good for Pathra, if anything. The Precipice means that Dynamatic's just even better.
Yeah.
Because it just straight up kills the Harrison easily.
Which is interesting why Shaxy's considering
Viscera
using it on the
Water,
rover.
yeah.
Also plays around Zilex, pushing a bit of extra damage if it gets magnetized.
Nice play, actually, from Shaxy there. I was going to say, if he actually evists the Militia Commander, Patra's probably happy with that outcome. Not even just okay with it, but happy.
Warpath never going to end up clearing here. Not a great way to deal with this. I'm not sure if you want to brawl this too much either, but maybe you have to. You could Militia Commander double Warpath and use the other one on the board to kill the Edwin, but that feels like awful.
I was thinking of Militia Commander into the 5/4, just kill it off and just let them have an 8/8.
Yeah.
Because you've got so much health, you can always brawl later, and Shaxy can't realistically expect to ride this game on just one 8/8, just repeatedly hitting the face, right?
Also, if you've seen 2 Eviscerates, it's not going to be easy to deal with the 2/4. And the 2/4 is not threatening, but at 16 health, a couple of swings, a boom.
Yeah, exactly. Or there's always the do this, brawl, and then try in Militia Commander the Harrison if it lives, but that's just kind of feels a little bit weaker to me overall.
Petra choosing to use a Warpath here.
Setting up for a Dynamatic next turn.
No?
Or a Militia Commander, depending on, what Shaxy does.
But I definitely like pushing the damage face. Probably time to get the Miscreant down. Scheme should be shuffling, I believe, 9 or 10 at this point. At the end of this turn, I believe it'll be 10.
He evolves. Not too fantastic right now. Always nice for the Miscreant himself.
Yep.
But in general, not the most powerful outcome he could have got here. Not really close.
I think you might want to hold on to them this time. Oh.
Oh.
I was going to say maybe you want to hold on to them if you're going for the same game plan where you can kind of spread out the lackeys over a couple turns with the Togwaggles you're shuffling in. If that's the game plan he's going for. Maybe he wants to be a bit more aggressive.
There's a shake of the head from Shaxy. I think he was considering it, but I feel like evolving a 2/1 feels like a bit of a waste.
Yeah.
Or evolving a 1-drop, should I say.
I like it better on the Stretch Corsair. And this lets you replay the Edwin. This is good.
Also, still not too bad for Pathra, because this wide board just says, hello, Mr. Brawl.
Right.
So, there was basically, Pathra set up a win-win scenario where if there weren't that many minions played and the Van Cleave wasn't bounced, then she could kill it. And if there were that many minions played, then she just presses Brawl, sees what happens, and hopes Van Cleave doesn't.
Oh, no. This was disastrous.
Okay, well, that wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah, no, that was not part of the plan at all.
So, armor up next turn, Omega Assembly into Devastator?
Yeah. You could play out the commander.
Defend the gates!
This lets her draw an execute, or if she does discover a Devastator or find another one from her deck, she can play it and actually kill off the Edwin this way. So taking the 12 is definitely going to be quite a big hit, but it doesn't mean she's out just yet.
Funnily enough, I think this is when you can go with Tog, right? There's been so much committed into this Van Cleave that I would have thought just getting Tog in there is worth it, but maybe Shaxy feels he has to wait for the for the Myras to be able to empty the deck and guarantee the draws.
Well, I mean, you'd have to play the Togwaggle without the Lackey because I don't know if she wants, or if she actually wants to actually evolve the Edwin, because that's the only Lackey he had in hand at the time. So to activate the Togwaggle, I don't know if he wants to give up on the Edwin. But even just playing a naked Togwaggle and going to this game wouldn't have been terrible. But I think you might dilute your draws too much at that point. Drawing 6 mana 5/5s. Actually, at this point, might not even be bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. You kind of just want to end the game, right? And now there can be Omega Devastator to check. Omega Assembly to check. And then if you whiff, you can boom Warpath and cross your fingers.
Yeah.
Because I don't see anything else.
I think as Pathra, you just want to be seeing exactly Omega Devastator Ziliax from this assembly.
Oh, to be fair, the if you get Omega Devastator, Dynamatic clears up afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Or at least helps. It won't clear the board.
I think his double Dynomatic here is super unlikely to clear the Edwin.
Yeah. I think you have to do this. See what happens.
Okay.
That's so big. You always get a Devastator. It's just true.
Could consider Hecklebotting, but that could be very dangerous. She has to consider if she wants to Dynamact and...
Hecklebot might be fine, right? What are the big minions?
Leroy? Togwaggle? Nomi?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's Leroy. Oh wow. Well, Nomi and Tog, I guess, yeah.
This is lethal. If Shaxy sees it, he can play either Nomi or the... Yeah. So, rushing the Nomi... If he rushes the Nomi into the 3... Uh-oh. I think this was a mislethal. If you rush the Nomi into the 3/8 with your dagger, you have 13 damage on board. Right? You play Chef Nomi from hand.
Yeah.
Double tap,
rush.
double pay. This might still be
6.
fine.
Yeah, I mean, that looks good to me. Is this getting through anyway?
Yeah, this gets through too,
Right.
but this wasn't guaranteed.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, the Hecklebot looked like it was going to save the day along with the Devastator, but it was not meant to be, and Shaxy takes the win. I will say, though,